If you've ever listened to a song and just, wished you could immediately play it.
On guitar, piano, anything.
Exactly. Well, this is for you. We're going to get into how you can actually identify the structure of music, especially chords, just by listening.
And this is a real skill, what we call oral skills. It all starts with, believe it or not, your gut feeling.
That feeling is really the best shortcut, isn't it?
It is. And the very first thing you have to master is just the emotional difference between major and minor chords.
Okay, so forget all the theory for a second. What is the absolute easiest way to tell them apart, just by the sound?
It's purely emotional. Major chords, they feel bright, happy.
Positive.
Yeah, positive like a thought that's been completed. Think of a big triumphant movie ending. That's a major sound.
And minor.
Minor chords are the opposite. They sound darker, maybe more serious, or even sad. They create a kind of tension, like the story isn't over yet.
It's kind of amazing that just those two categories, happy and sad, define so much of the music we listen to.
Almost all of it.
So once we can feel that difference, how do we start to understand what's actually making that feeling happen?
Okay, so now we get into the building blocks. Whether a chord is major or minor, happy or sad, it's built with just 3 specific notes. We call that a triad.
3 notes. And I'm guessing one of them is more important than the others?
Oh, absolutely. The first one, the foundation, is called the root note. It's the anchor. It gives the chord its name.
So if we hear a G minor chord, G is the root.
G is the root. It's home base. Finding that root is probably the single most important skill you can build right now.
But in a real song, with drums and vocals and everything, how do you find that one note?
You listen for the lowest sound. In pop, rock, almost anything, the bass player or the lowest notes on the piano are playing that root note.
So you should try to hum along with that lowest pitch you can hear.
Exactly. If you can sing that foundation, you've basically named the chord.
Okay, so we have our root. Now, music is all about the distance between notes, right? How do we measure that?
We measure it in half steps, and a half step is just the smallest possible unit in Western music.
Like on a piano, it's the very next key, right? White to black, or sometimes white to white.
The very next key. Every single chord is defined by a fixed number of these little half steps between its 3 notes.
So let's use that. What's the formula for a major chord?
A basic major chord has the root, then a major third, and then a perfect fifth. That's the combination that sounds so catchy and stable.
And what are the numbers? How many half steps?
Okay, so the major third is exactly 4 half steps up from the root.
4 steps. Got it.
And the perfect fifth is 7 half steps up from the root. And that's it. It's a constant, like a mathematical rule. 4, then 7.
But then for a minor chord, the whole emotional feeling changes, but 2 of the 3 notes are actually the same.
The exact same. The root and the perfect fifth don't move. All the magic happens with that middle note, the third.
You lower it.
You lower it by 1 single half step. So instead of a jump of 4 half steps to get to that middle note,
It's only 3.
it's only 3. That creates the minor third. And that tiny, tiny shift is the only difference between a happy chord and a sad chord.
That's the whole thing. 1 half step.
That's the whole thing. The entire mood can pivot on just moving 1 note by the smallest amount you possibly can.
So if you're listening to a sad song and suddenly there's this one bright, uplifting moment.
It's almost always a composer switching from a minor third to a major third on a chord. It gives you this little burst of hope before maybe going back to the darker sound.
Okay, let's really dig into the jobs of these notes. The third, you said, carries all the emotional weight.
It's the emotional core. If you're training your ear after you find the root, you hunt for the third. Is it high and bright, or is it low and somber?
High meaning 4 steps away, low meaning 3 steps away.
Precisely. If the interval is wide, it's happy. If it's narrow, it's sad.
And there's a perfect example of this in rock music, right? With
Yeah.
power chords. Yes, the power chord. So a power chord only uses 2 notes, the root and the perfect fifth. It completely leaves out the third, the emotional note.
It takes out the emotional indicator. So the chord isn't happy or sad. It just sounds powerful, ambiguous.
Which is why it works so well with heavy distortion on a guitar.
Right. A full major or minor chord can sound messy and muddy with a lot of distortion, but a power chord is just clean, raw strength.
That's a fantastic point. Okay, so the third is the heart. What about the other note, the perfect fifth?
The fifth is the stabilizer. It's the one that doesn't change. It's always 7 half steps above the root in both major and minor chords. It adds clarity and strength.
It's like the frame holding the picture together.
What a great way to put it. Yeah, it's the frame. If that fifth is even a tiny bit out of tune, the whole chord just sounds wrong.
Right.
Unstable. You hear that stable sound in like epic movie music?
Like space movies.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like the theme from 2001, A Space Odyssey. That big open sound relies on that stable root to fifth relationship. Okay, but let's get real. In actual music, chords aren't always stacked up so neatly with the root on the bottom.
No, they're not. They get rearranged, and we call those rearrangements inversions.
Think of it like a stack of blocks. The colors are the same, but you change which block is on the bottom.
Perfect analogy. The chord is still a G major, for instance, but the lowest note might not be G anymore, and that changes the feeling.
So if the third, the middle note, gets moved to the bottom.
That's a first inversion, and it sounds a lot less stable, a little lighter. It feels like it's in motion, like it's on its way to the next chord.
The fifth is on the bottom.
That's a second inversion. That one creates a really specific tension. It feels heavy, almost like it's about to fall over and resolve back to the root position. If you hear a chord that feels like it's really straining to get somewhere, it's probably a second inversion.
So you have to learn to hear the notes inside the chord, not just which one is lowest.
That's the next level of ear training for sure.
Okay, another thing. Chords aren't always played with all the notes hitting at the same time.
Right. Sometimes they're broken up, played one note after another. That's called an arpeggio.
Like in old video game music.
Yes. Or the opening of Kanye West's Runaway. That piano part is all arpeggios. And for a beginner, this is actually a gift.
Why is that?
Because the notes are separated, your ear has more time to process the distance between them. You can really hear that jump from the root to the third.
And figure out if it's a big jump of 4 steps for major or a smaller jump of 3 for minor.
Precisely. You can just hum along with the little melody the arpeggio makes, and it'll tell you what the chord is.
So to really lock all this in, to build the kind of mental map of these sounds, there's a tool for that, right? Solfege.
Do, re, mi. Yes. Solfege is essential because it connects those abstract numbers, 4 half steps, 3 half steps, to your own voice. You internalize the feeling of the distance.
So for a major chord, you would sing.
Do, mi, sol. That mi is your major third.
And for a minor chord, you just lower that one note.
You change the mi to a mi, so it becomes do, mi, sol. If you practice singing do, mi, sol, then do, mi, sol, you are physically creating that emotional shift, which makes your ear recognize it instantly.
Okay, zooming out a bit. Music is more than one chord. It's a string of chords, a progression.
And those progressions aren't random. They follow really predictable patterns, like common phrases in a language. If you know the patterns, you can guess what chord is coming next.
What's the first one everyone should listen for?
The I-V-V. That's the first, fourth, and fifth chords of a scale. In the key of C, that's a C major chord, an F major chord, and a G major chord.
You hear that everywhere.
Everywhere. Rock, pop, country, blues. If you can learn to hear that journey from the 1 chord to the 4 to the 5 and back home to the 1, you have unlocked thousands of songs.
And the real key to all of this, beyond any theory, is just practice.
Consistency. It's everything. A few minutes every single day is so much better than one long session once a week.
Use an app, sit at a piano, whatever works. But do it consistently.
Your brain is literally building new connections. It takes repetition. But eventually you'll just hear it. You'll hear a song and you'll just know what's happening.
So the main takeaway is it really all starts with feeling. That happy major sound versus that sad minor sound.
And then understanding that the entire difference comes down to one note, the third, and whether it's a little higher or a little lower.
The more you listen for that foundational root note and that emotional third, the faster you're going to crack the code hidden inside every song you love.
Good luck with your studies.